Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Novak, and I am the Artistic Director of the Paul Taylor Dance Company. And I want to thank you for joining us on this very special evening. As our event begins, I want to take a moment to share a personal message with all of you about why we are here, where we are going, and your role in fueling our future. Modern dance, as a mode of creativity and expression, has always relied upon an embrace of the freedom to think non-traditionally. All of us, dancers, students, audience members, and patrons, share in this lineage, one that looks inward, abandons convention, and builds new structures to create, perform, and connect. Tonight's benefit is titled Modern is Now Illumination, and is meant to be an expression of that lineage, to illuminate the audacity and endurance of our art form and our company to reach audiences. And there is a lot to experience tonight. I encourage you to explore the gallery where we share films and videos from our archives. Feel free to chat in the column to the right and let us know that you are with us and where you are tuning in from. We also have some fun polls for you to participate in. And, of course, you can donate or make a pledge, if you can. No gift is too small. Every gift matters and is deeply appreciated as we work to bring modern dance excellence to audiences around the world. Now, we have friends backing us with gifts large and small, doing what they can to keep our community together and dancing. Here's a special message from one of our favorite Taylor superfans from right here in the fabulous Lower East Side.
My name is Tennyson Roma, and my favorite thing about Paul Taylor is that it's just an amazing dance company, and all their dancers are amazing, and the shows are beautiful. It's a place where people can express themselves, and it's just kind of awesome, because you can really see the emotion through their dance as they're doing their shows. Donating to dance companies is awesome, and also any amount counts. Like, I started off doing $5 of my own allowance in the telethon, then I donated a couple hundred for my bakery. I'm doing what I can to support this great company, and I hope you do too.
Thank you, Tennyson, for your message, your entrepreneurial spirit, and your financial support. You can join Tennyson as the night progresses by using text to donate. Information will appear throughout the evening, as well as the donate link on the left menu bar. And if you donate tonight, we will arrange for you to receive a personal phone call from one of our extraordinary dancers, thanking you for your support. I want to mention that your support tonight fuels not only the dancers, but our full Taylor family, the designers, our production team, our choreographers, and of course, our school, which is rekindling and reimagining itself in fantastic new ways under the direction of Taylor alumna Carolyn Adams. We are so fortunate to have Carolyn with us as we move forward. She is revitalizing our offerings as we emerge from the pandemic and honing in on what makes Paul Taylor and our community so special. Whatever their age or ability, Carolyn enables and accelerates our students' artistic growth. And here she is.
My name is Carolyn Adams, and I'm the Education Director at the Paul Taylor School. I think of this place, and I always did even when I was dancing years ago, that it was a place where you were supposed to feel comfortable. Not relaxed necessarily, but a place where you really could just focus on the work that had to be done and all of the positive things that came out of that. I think that there's a kind of warmth that you've got to set the soil, you've got to be in a place where the art can happen and where people feel safe. And the same thing is true of a school. So the atmosphere, a lot of the students talk about how they feel at home here, so we can get to work. I think Paul set the tone for that, and once you have that focus, then all the other stuff can happen. All the chemistry between the people, all the focus. We try to make people feel that they're here to move themselves to another place, not to look like anybody else, but to discover who they are and what they look like. So that seems to be a safe environment for people. And then, of course, the content of what happens here is wonderful.
Now, when Carolyn speaks of content, she is, of course, referring to our rich repertory of dances by Paul Taylor, renowned icons in our field, and other contemporary choreographers. I am proud to say that even through 2020 and 2021, our company continues to expand its repertory and its reach. We are returning to multiple stages in and around New York City, as well as the country at large, in addition to working to imagine new digital offerings like this special evening. Tonight centers on the power of creative voices to bring light to humanity, and how dancers, dance makers, and designers share in a passion and dedication to reach audiences, no matter the circumstances. We will honor longtime Taylor collaborator and acclaimed lighting designer Jennifer Tipton, a celebrated icon on Broadway, in opera, and throughout the world of dance. We look forward to sharing her rich story about falling in love with light and the power of theater, and how her illustrious career actually started here with Paul Taylor. We will also take a unique look at Mr. Taylor's Promethean Fire. Poignantly, this benefit's conception coincided with the 20th anniversary of 9/11, a human tragedy that challenged New York's and our country's ideas of normality and required tremendous individual and collective courage. With its themes of triumph over adversity, Promethean Fire, choreographed in the wake of 9/11, surfaced as the most profound gift the Taylor Company could offer our communities, and the best possible centerpiece for your experience tonight. But we wanted to bring it to audiences in a way that honored this moment of where we are in our cultural recovery. And so our team worked to bring Promethean Fire to the Oculus at the World Trade Center in New York City, so that New Yorkers could share in the experience of connecting with the dance and our dancers. That performance we bring to you tonight with the hope that it will inspire. It is my belief that our work at the Taylor Company will endure and thrive long into the future. And it is with fortitude and excitement I move Taylor's legacy forward into 2022 and beyond. While the most important way for celebrating dance remains live and in person, it is my sincere pleasure to share this evening with you. Thank you to everyone who collaborated on it. Our extraordinary company of dancers whose growth and resilience inspires all of us daily, our presenting partners, KPMG and S&P Global, as well as our generous co-chairs, Ahmad Babawi, Nancy Coles-Goldstein, John Hyman, Doug and Teresa Peterson, and Stephen Kroll-Reedy. I am incredibly grateful for all of your passion and support. So, on with the show. It is my honor to share with you Modern is Now, Illumination.
It's almost like an epiphany where the source of the light is coming from within and without. It's the clarity of an idea, the pulling together, the gathering of ideas. There is light, let there be light, there be light.
When you sit out and watch from the audience, you can see the rays of light hitting the stage, awareness.
And with Paul's work, I think illumination can be different things to different people. You know, what did you perceive? What did you understand? What is illuminated for you? That's art, right? That's what we all hope for.
I sort of think of a halo.
Amplifying the essence of what a moment or a person is. That you are illuminating something about yourself that is individual, that is unique to you.
You know, when the house goes dark and the theater goes dark and the first bit of light comes on stage, that to me is illumination.
It's kind of like igniting that fire within you. Igniting the fire, starting from the feet all the way up.
Illuminate means just finding your individual light, whatever that is, and bringing it out. I'm picturing, visualizing just all of our inner lights, and we all dance together, and it starts to like illuminate out.
Yeah, an inner light that is to be shared.
She was just the great goddess of light.
Paul created the movement, Sato created what you were wearing and the backdrop, and then Jennifer came in and just created an atmosphere with light that brought you completely into that world.
Paul is known for having so many colors and shades to his choreography. You know, she adds so much richness to that.
What does it really mean to light a dance? How light can transform an image or a person.
She can change the space.
It wasn't just about the dance, it was about the universe that she created.
And she takes you through a story with every single lighting change.
She's so much more than a lighting designer. She's everywhere, and she does everything, and she does it all well.
My father is a zoologist, and my mother was a physicist. So I spent most of my young life trying to figure out whether I wanted to be a zoologist or a physicist. And finally, I fell in love with, first of all, the moon and the stars. So I went off to college to be an astrophysicist, majoring in physics. But I also wanted to be a dancer, so that won. I learned everything I know from Paul and lighting those dances, trying to get to the heart of them. Light in time and space is just a remarkable expression. Light does for the space the same thing that music does. It can take you many, many places, sort of effortlessly, without your even being aware of how you're getting to the new place, or how the color shifts from left to right. It points out the story of the dance, as well as perhaps telling its own story. And I think that's what I love about light, because there is always the second story, which is my story going on. The whole effort of dance and music and light and costume and everything that goes into a dance is to illuminate an idea for the audience.
I think of illumination when the house goes dark. Because there is a moment, it's like a second or two, where the whole audience and the cast and the crew, like everyone just goes right into like focus mode and no one knows what's about to happen until like the illumination happens. So it's super exciting.
I still get nervous. Do you guys still get nervous?
I always get the chills. You have this moment where you get everything together, and then like you said, then the chaos happens, and then go. Yep.
I like to say, like, all my butterflies are flying all over my body, and then once the music hits and you hear the crowd hush and then the curtain goes down, all my butterflies just come straight to my belly so I can be as grounded. And then the reason why I love to perform is once that curtain goes up, there's nothing happens in my mind anymore. And it's the first and only time I find peace.
When you're newer in the company, which I was a little bit newer before the pandemic, you have certain dances that you know maybe like 6, 7, 8, 9 of them, but you always are looking forward to the next season. I felt a big loss for having about a year where I didn't learn a new dance. And so now coming back and learning new pieces, it's like just getting to know Paul better and better again, and that's awesome. That's something I missed so much.
You know, I would say I'm even hungrier than I was before the pandemic, because you don't want to waste this precious time, because you just never know what's going to happen. I think that's what the last year taught us.
No one had any idea how long this would take, when we would come back, and if audiences would be comfortable coming back, and all of that's kind of falling into place now.
For me, illumination is coming from a dark place and finding hope. And when you have light on you, you cannot hide, and you have to be your true self.
I would say it's kind of like igniting that fire within you. That's what I think of. You know, bringing, like Pooh said, like bringing something back to life. I think even that goes for the pieces on stage.
Well, I always think about the light for a piece as being new to it. I am establishing the language of the dance or the language of the play. Compositionally, you're working from afar, and yet you feel part of the picture. It's very interesting because it's a special relationship with the dancers.
When you're the performer, it's something that you experience. It's a reactive stance. When you're the choreographer and you're trying to create those worlds with the lighting designer, it's very different.
As I say, I've been at it long enough. I can do anything. But it's so much more interesting when I have somebody like a director challenge me in a certain way that makes me see it differently. Collaboration is great. As to the future, artists will always find the tools that they need. They'll make them up, or they'll change their art to use the tools they have.
At the end of the day, we're in a life that we're constantly evolving, constantly growing. We have to redefine where we are today.
We artists are, that's our job, to make a lot out of nothing.
I love Paul Taylor Company because of their bravery, their courage. They jump into things, they're fearless.
So what it was will never be again. And I think that's true of pretty much everything. That the new normal will not be the old normal. And therefore it's exciting because it can be a new way. We just have to have the courage to make it a new way.
Sometimes you're just the extra log that gets put on the fire, and sometimes you're the spark.
I think in life, illuminate means just finding your individual light, whatever that is, and bringing it out onto the streets, into relationships, into the workplace, on the subway, wherever you are, whatever your individual light is, just letting that shine. I know that sounds really corny, but actually finding a way that you can really offer that to the world, because that's what the world needs and thrives off of, all of our individuality.
Kind of piggyback off of that. It's to illuminate in life, I guess, is to just be unapologetically yourself at all times. Like stepping out of the door, you know who you are, and you know how you want to be perceived, and that can also be translated onto the stage as well. Because of course, like, different pieces require different things, but at the same time, it's still you on stage.
Illumination, and to illuminate, I also often think of the object that is being found in a sense, because it is finally, light has been brought to it, so it's kind of like finding the secrets that are maybe hiding in the dark, and maybe parts of ourselves that we don't often want to see or share, but as artists, we do let light shine in there sometimes and open it for others to see.
I think it starts as a small entity. I don't know, the word illuminate in my brain kind of is interchangeable with radiate. Mm-hmm. So it kind of starts small, and maybe it's an internal feeling that you have when I dance. And it just grows outwards, and I think that's kind of how the lights come on too on stage.
No matter what gets thrown at us, each thing that we're gonna do and we're gonna put out is gonna keep growing and growing and growing. Whether it's Paul's work, whether it's new work, that's it. Just us as a whole, as a family, as a unit.
The only thing I know is true and sure is that whatever is thrown at us, we're going to have an open mind, we're going to commit to it, and just keep moving forward.
And that us as dancers, with every new project, with every new work we embark on, that we just love, commitment, and trust always deepens, and it's just working with you guys is always the best, and every time I get to do it is a pleasure and a privilege.
The main thing that I know about the science of light is that we human beings don't know that much about it. We're not really sure why things happen the way they happen. But I'm glad they do, because I use what happens, and it's how light looks. And of course, you don't see light until it hits something. So it's all rather complex. The absence of light means shadow to me, really. And the shadows are what give dimension, allow us to see dimension. Dancers who like to get in the shadow so that it feels more comfortable.
It is something sacred about when those house lights go down. It's a hush over the audience, and that lighting kind of centers us all. The heartbeat slows down a little bit. It's that magic.
It's not just light or dark, but it's all the in-betweens and the beautiful things that are created through lighting design, shadow, and rooms that it might create on the stage, or this feeling, a haze, whatever. It transports us and allows us to go, we can see the world more clearly that's being created. The light has so much power. It really does. It gets everyone. You don't have to say a word. You don't have to do a thing. It's just like everybody knows, okay, we're going. Here's the journey is beginning.
During COVID, but just the isolation of being by ourselves, there were moments where I would become incredibly introverted, and I already like the spooky. I already like the demented sort of, I don't shy away from those, macabre thoughts. So now I have this ability to draw from darkness, and then also the excitement of not being there anymore, of being able to go back into life. And that feels like such a bright illumination. Yeah, those extremes now feel much more poignant.
And Paul Taylor loved that, right?
Yeah.
He loved when you brought your own experiences to the work, and that created the individuality that he loved in each dancer, right? So it's with this time that we've had with ourselves, I feel like we've all grown a lot individually and more in touch with our own feelings, and I do feel it sort of coming out in the work.
The second section of Esplanade, when it glows, I remember watching it before I was ever in the company or doing it, and you immediately just go, something's happening, and you're in it. There's something really magical about the way that there's so many different ways that his dances have been lit, and it not forces, but it really helps you have a feeling, as an audience member, or when something's stark, and you're that tells me something so different than when it starts to glow. It tells you something. There's no way you're leaving without feeling. You will sit there and you will feel something. And it doesn't, and the cool thing with Paul's work is that we don't all have to feel the same thing, but you're going to feel something when you're sitting in that seat. It feels magical when you're in it, but I'm now remembering what it felt like just to watch it, and I'm wow, it's really special.
I think just with this idea of darkness, I always think of the second section of Esplanade, right? We end the first section, it's been bright, we all do this great cheer, and then you come up, then the light kind of comes up. But the thing about a dark stage is it doesn't necessarily mean that there's darkness. It actually means that you more look lit from within. Each of us individually kind of glows in our own aura against all this darkness. And I feel that's so much the experience. Because of the darkness, we've all had to grow with each other and glow from within. And I think that we have such a more deeper understanding of us as individuals. So now that we're come back into this place of joyousness and the light of having come through that, it makes us just shine even more.
I think honestly one of my favorite parts about being on stage is when you hear the stage manager call lights go. It's just for me there's a light inside metaphorically that sparks, and I'm okay, it's time to turn it on, it's time to dance.
It does feel like it's a conversation between the lights and the dancers. I think one of the most incredible things about the company that we work for is that we're all proud of being individuals, and we're all so different.
I think also it has to do with the fact that we're part of such a huge legacy, and there's so much tradition involved with what we're doing. So to be able to give back something to our community that is something normal, or that they know or that recognize, or something familiar.
Yeah, I think it kind of creates a community between the audience and the dancers. It's, like you said, it's such a human experience in Paul's rep. So I think for audiences to be able to sit there in a live setting and to be able to witness that and take that in the moment is just so rare and special to say, we're all in this together. No one's in this alone. We can all do this and get through this.
People who go to see a live performance are going to maybe escape you know, like what's happening from the outside world. And right now there's so much going on. So I feel like for anyone who gets the opportunity to come and see us perform, like we can give them that moment, whether it's like an hour or 2 hours, to really just escape from the chaos of the outside, and you know, they just get to focus.
Well, I feel like we've learned over the course of a year a new definition of accessibility in regards to the form and to watching live performance, more specifically dance, more specifically Paul's work. So I think we could continue to delve into what that means to have every walk of life, every opportunity to come see the work.
So from the beginning of my life in lighting to now, the coming end, it's been the Taylor Company that has challenged me and rewarded me with discovery. And it's been a great life in light.
That was amazing and concludes our program this evening. But the content doesn't stop here, so I encourage all of you to explore the gallery where we share films and videos from our archive. You can continue chatting in the column to the right, or please take a moment to consider offering our company a gift of support as we enter 2022. There is still time to donate and have one of our amazing dancers give you a call to thank you for your support. If you want to see the Taylor Company live and in person, I want you to know that 2022 is going to be the year the Taylor Company takes on New York as never before, starting with opening the inaugural City Center Dance Festival in March. For tickets, you can head to the lobby where you'll see the button for more information. We will be performing beautiful dances from Mr. Taylor's repertory, as well as Larry Kegwin's Rush Hour and a world premiere by choreographer Lauren Lovett. The company can't wait to dance for you. Finally, I have one request. Please go see art. All of it. Chamber music, dance, theater, opera, jazz, plays, musicals, symphonies, improv shows, anything that speaks to your spirit. Grab your family and friends and make a plan to see something. Engage with the artists in your community. Take a class to learn something new and help the performing arts return. The world needs art more than ever right now, and you have a role to play in helping all of us come back. So thank you for your time, your enthusiasm, and your generosity. I'm looking forward to revealing what's next from the Taylor Company. Stay healthy, and I'll see you in the theater very soon.